Hello, I'm Bri Williams, the behaviour changer, and welcome to Focus On, a focus on a specific topic, business or issue for the month. This month, we're looking at how information biases distort our thinking and what to do to make better decisions. But what am I talking about when I say information biases? Well, I'm referring to quirks in our wiring that mean we pay attention to some things while ignoring or distorting others. Now, there are so many information biases. I'm going to focus on 3 you will most commonly grapple with and have the biggest impact on your business, starting with the halo effect. With the halo effect, we make an initial assessment and imbue whatever it is we are judging with positive or negative sentiment, despite evidence to the contrary. Now, these thin slice first impressions are really difficult to overcome. And in fact, we are rarely motivated to even bother to try. Instead, we look to reinforce our initial judgment. The halo effect explains why some people are seen as favorites who can do no wrong. A good early impression means their reputation is set, despite any evidence to the contrary. Look out for the halo effect when you are recruiting staff. Don't let your first impression interfere with what you hear and learn about each candidate. And when dealing with staff, don't think that just because someone did something well, that they won't struggle with other tasks. And don't write people off for a poor start. And of course, when dealing with salespeople, don't let their charm disarm your critical thinking abilities. I mentioned with the halo effect that we tend to look for information that confirms our initial impression. Well, this is the confirmation bias. Our tendency to seek and hold on to evidence that supports our position while ignoring any information that contradicts it. The confirmation bias explains why both sides of the political divide stay divided. Both sides only hear what they want to hear. In business, the confirmation bias can be dangerous in a number of ways. For instance, latching on to market data that supports your strategy while ignoring any other factors, or finding and sharing only the data that supports your side of the argument. And of course, hearing only what you want to hear when you speak with your customers. So what can you do about it? Overcoming the confirmation bias requires we argue the reverse case. If you think the market is going to rise, look for data that suggests it's going to fall. I find dividing a document in half helps me do this. Facts to support my hypothesis on one side and facts to support the opposite on the other. Both columns need to be filled, which forces you to go out of your way to dispute your initial position. Time for our 3rd and final information bias. Overconfidence. The overconfidence bias is our tendency to overestimate how skilled or talented we are, like how good a driver we are. As a result, we underestimate the time or resources something will actually take. The overconfidence bias explains why you think a project will only take 2 months, but realistically it will take 4. The overconfidence bias is closely associated with the planning fallacy, where we underestimate how long something will take and the obstacles we will encounter. So, what can you do about overconfidence? Well, before I take you through how to overcome overconfidence, I wanted to let you know you are watching a sample of content from my Just Do This membership program. In Just Do This, I show you exactly how to apply behavioural science to everyday business issues, like acquiring and retaining customers and staff. You get live sessions with me, templates, scripts, and new content every month. Join now at briwilliams.com. Now, what can we do about overconfidence? To puncture overconfidence, here are 3 things to try. First, conduct a pre-mortem. This is where you pretend your project or product has flopped and list all the ways why this has happened. This will help you have a more realistic perspective. Secondly, use past experiences to guide expectations. If past projects have run 30% over budget and 40% over time, assume this is the rule, not the exception. And the third way to puncture overconfidence, use the wisdom of the crowd. Opening a discussion up to scrutiny and having multiple points of view is a good way of overcoming any one individual's overconfidence. There are many more information biases which we may cover another time, but knowing about the halo effect, confirmation bias, and overconfidence will get you started on making better decisions.